If you follow this, you will consistently have 1 to 2 deals in your pipeline every single month, which should eliminate some of that financial insecurity, but also help you build your skills, sharpen your sword, become a better marketer, become a better buyer's agent, become a better listing agent, become a more research-based agent, a more learning-based agent. Like, you're going to cover all the bases here of what real estate agents need to be doing on a day-to-day basis to create consistent results. Okay. So the main issue we have here is that real estate agents are very inconsistent and they want consistent results, but their effort does not match their expectations. This is very, very common. So, many of you watching this on the replay, I would just challenge you, like, what are you doing right now that's dollar productive? What have you done today that's dollar productive? What did you do yesterday that is dollar productive? And that's the problem, right? You may have had 1 or 2 days last week where you were productive, but this week not so much. So consistency is a huge problem, and it's magnified by the fact that it's the only magic bullet in real estate sales. So the more consistent you are, the more sales you're going to do. And this is not market specific. So there's no such thing as a good market or a bad market if and when you approach the market in a way that is, dollar productive and consistent. So it's all about what you bring to the market, not what the market's doing to you or the problem it's causing, the obstacles it's creating. It's all about your approach, your response, your proactive response to the market. So I'm going to give you a very proactive game plan to focus on today. And whether you choose to execute it or not, that is on you. We had an agent that did not identify a FSBA open house. That's my favorite because you're actually putting yourself in a position to meet buyers and potentially interview sellers like the neighbors and things like that. But you're also putting yourself into a situation where you're actually interviewing for that FSBA listing, whether they know it or not, or whether you know it or not. There's the potential to build a relationship there. And we know that relationships will result in more business. So the more relationships we build, also, the more our business will grow. But she reached out to a prominent listing agent, let's say in the greater Birmingham area, asked her if she had any houses that she could hold open. And in fact, there was a house that she could hold open. So we went over the plan, this marketing plan that I'm going to deliver today. Actually started really, I gave her all the training well prior to this open house being scheduled. But once she circled back with me and said, hey, I've got one scheduled, it's a Monday. Ideally, we want to start this plan on a Monday. But it was a Monday, and she said, hey, got an open house for this weekend. I was like, all right, great, it's Monday. What do we do on Monday? We do our open house announcement video on Mondays. So let's get that rocking and rolling. And never saw it. She never did it. I never saw any of the steps, any of the strategies, any of the tips from the plan executed last week leading up to the open house. I don't know to this day whether she hosted an open house last weekend. Okay. And therein lies the frustration, not only with me as a coach, let's just put that off for a second because, that's not as important as your results, but agents give open houses a bad rap. And one of the main reasons that they do is because their marketing leading up to the open house really sucks. A big one, right? It's not there. It's inconsistent. It's non-existent. It's not comprehensive enough. So again, their results are that they're seeking, their expectation for results is not matching the effort that they're putting out. So real estate is all about input equals output. Input equals output. So what do you do in there to market your open houses? And if you do it the way that I'm going to show you today, if you market your open houses the way that I'm going to review with you today, then it doesn't matter if somebody comes to the open house. It does not matter. Okay, because the marketing is going to do the job it needs to do. You're going to build your top of mind awareness. You're going to generate leads. You have distributed content that week. which generated leads, which leads to follow-up. I mean, you're doing research, you're doing all the things, right? All the things you need to be doing. And so agents struggle with this. They struggle what they need to be doing on a day-to-day basis. They have no plan, they have no strategy, they have no schedule, they have no direction. It's just pin the tail on the donkey, and they're expecting like massive ROI off that approach, off a very whimsical and random approach to real estate prospecting. Now, we're in a hunt and gather industry. So if you sit on your hands, you're going to starve. So the first thing we can do to make this a super productive call is everybody that's on right now, everybody that listens to the replay, you have to understand that you are the problem. Okay. Identify yourself as the problem. Identify your lack of consistency as the problem. Identify your lack of commitment as the problem. Now, one thing I'm going to do is provide a solution today. Now, whether you decide to get out of your own way and take advantage of this solution, that again is on you. So what is it going to be? What are you going to choose? You're going to choose your heart, because this plan ain't easy. I'm going to tell you that right now, but it is highly, highly effective. All right. So for the sake of time, we're just going to dive in, because that was about, a 15-minute intro or something like that. So we need to kind of kick the can down the road here. So just, kind of common sense, I would think, is that you need to identify an open house. So let's start with, our agency listings. Let's reach out to our favorite agents at other companies that take really nice, attractive listings. That is a key. Curb appeal is a big key to success. There needs to be something appealing and or compelling about a listing in order for it to garner attention, both online and offline. It's extremely important. So you just don't want to go put something out there, a blanket offer of like, hey, I'll host anybody's open house anywhere, because you're going to get stuck in BFE where their seller really wants an open house, but the agent really doesn't want to be there to host the open house because they know it's so far out and there's such a limited opportunity for them to garner traffic. But again, depending on the attractiveness of the property and the compelling nature of the amenities, this plan could really, really work online as opposed to offline. But it's property specific, and we need to take these properties and open house opportunities on a case-by-case basis. Now, this plan was written specifically. It works with your listings. It works with other agents' listings. It works with FSBOs, but FSBOs are my favorite because, again, you're putting yourself in a direct opportunity to win a listing, but also win over buyers that are attracted to the marketing that you're going to be rolling out for this listing. All right. Makes sense. All right. So I'm going to zip through this really, really fast. If you want a copy of this, if you want a written copy of this weekly schedule, this weekly marketing plan, you can reach out to me via text 251-583-9728 or email jason@jasonmorerealestate.com, or you can scroll down to the middle of the page. I created a landing page with some of my most popular trainings. It's learn-earn-give-serve.com. And so look towards the middle of that page and you will see a link to the video course for this. But I think it's really helpful to have the video and also have the written version to study. And I've got it in kind of a checklist format to make it really, really easy to follow. All right. So before we get started, start rolling through these days of the week, it's Tuesday. So what I would advise is that you spend the rest of this week watching and re-watching the video modules, and then reviewing and re-reviewing every single day, every single checklist item I have per day of the week, so that come Monday, and of course, reaching out to either FSBOs or agents in your brokerage or agents outside your brokerage that are great listing agents, but not necessarily great marketers. And they could really use your help with this. And so it's really a win-win, whether we're talking about agents or FSBOs or your own sellers. This is just a very winning strategy it's just designed to impress. It's designed to attract. and is designed to create consistency in your business, which is going to create consistent results. Okay, so this week, all about study, preparation. That's another thing realtors are just terrible at. They don't prepare. And so when an opportunity presents itself, it's often too late. They want Tiger Woods results, but they don't want to put in Tiger Woods preparation. Michael Jordan, whoever your favorite athlete is or musician, Taylor Swift's putting on some amazing shows right now. She prepares her face off. Okay. And that's why the performances are flawless. All right, Monday, let's just dive right into it. I want to develop a habit among real estate agents of deep market research. Okay. But we can start very small with the hot sheet, the MLS hot sheet. Okay, so no matter whether you got Flex or Paragon, whatever your MLS system is, typically, if not 100% of the time, there is a hot sheet. And that is something that you can customize. You can customize it by, area, MLS area, zip code, things like that, subdivision. So it's a specific area where you want to focus, where you want to start really getting a firm, deep understanding of the market data and what is happening in that very defined area. Okay, so most of us need to start in our backyard. So we need to start in the city in which we live, the city in which we do life. And if you live in a big enough subdivision, that may be enough. Okay, so let's set up that hot sheet and let's start off every day of this week. This plan, this strategy begins with market research, which is studying the MLS. Okay, a big part of our job description is to know the market. Yet the agents on this call, I would challenge them 100% and say, listen, you don't make a consistent effort to do this. But you want to be seen as a professional, but you don't have professional knowledge and understanding of the marketplace. It's like going to a heart surgeon who doesn't study, doesn't prepare, just wings it. And, that's dangerous, and that's dangerous to your career. It's not any different here, whether you're a professional person in any industry, business, medical, law, music, whatever. You got to put in the time if you want to get the results. Okay, so we're going to start off every day by studying the MLS hot sheet, and then right after that we're going to go into lead follow-up. So everybody should have, unless they just came out of a coma or some sort, I don't know what you've been doing, but if you haven't been living under a rock, people, and you've got some relationships, so you've got people to follow up with. I understand that it's much easier for many of you to follow up with people that you don't know first, to develop the confidence you need to start prospecting among the people that you do know, that you have that know, like, and trust factor with. So that's what this plan is going to do. It's going to help you generate leads that are non-Mets, that there's no relationship there. And it's going to give you an opportunity to build a relationship with those people, which will hopefully lead to confidence to focus on the people you already know, because this is a fact that everybody should internalize, is it takes twice as much energy to develop a relationship with somebody you know as opposed to somebody that you don't know. Okay, so you're actually creating a great deal of work for yourself by starting out or focusing on the non-Mets versus the Mets. So, but again, I get it. Been there, done that. That's the way I started. I needed to get some confidence built up, and practicing on strangers, and especially what we're going to be doing here is generating free leads is the way to go. All right, so Monday, we're assuming that it's next Monday. So next Monday we have a commitment from an agent, from a FSBO, or one of our own sellers to host an open house either Saturday or Sunday. And so we're going to begin marketing that listing on Monday. And the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to get our MLS hot sheet research in. Then we're going to go right to lead follow-up. I'm recommending an hour to 2 hours before lunch of lead follow-up. Your open house location, as we've said, is already selected. So then what we need to do is we need to research the MLS. We're going to do Depending on whether this is a property that has acreage, that would kind of change the strategy just a tad. And depending on the number of comps that we find, we're looking for 3 comps that are, very similar to the subject property. But we're going to do, about a research from in a 1 mile radius of the home. So we're looking at active listings, pending listings, and most recent solds. So we want to start understanding the market around this listing. So just to back up real quick, we started off our morning by studying the hot sheet, which is our farm, which is our backyard, which is the area that we either want to live in or we already live in. It's our dream market that we want to become kind of the go-to real estate agent in that area, marketplace, city, town, whatever. And then for this research is all about the subdivision where the open house is going to be going on. And so typically that's not going to be inside our farm, and that's okay because we're trying to meet clients, build our pipeline, gain experience. So that's okay. But as we get bigger, as our business grows, like the territory that we focus on should become a little more well-defined. All right, so Monday is pretty easy. We're going to have our open house location already selected. We're going to study the hot sheet. We're going to follow up on leads. If we don't have a lot of leads, then I'm going to urge you to follow up with some contacts there in your cell phone. Those contacts in your cell phone are not in a database. You need to get them in a database. Then we're going to research in a 1 mile radius around our open house location to include active, pending, and sold listings. And then the last thing we're going to do for the day is we're going to start brainstorming our weekly blog topic. Okay. Now, I think we should all have a goal of publishing at least 1 blog per week. And for the purposes of this plan, the blog needs to be a seller interview blog. Okay. So I've got a questionnaire for everybody. Again, if you want that, just reach out to me and I'll send it to you. But many of you should have it or know where to find it because I just put it everywhere, like all the time. But it's fine if you want to reach out to me and get a copy of that. I encourage you to do so. So that's Monday. Monday's pretty easy. Now, before we get into Tuesday, I did want to point this out that, I can't decide. It's not up to me to decide what you can accomplish in any given day. So as we start getting into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's a lot of bullet points for these days. There's a lot of stuff on this list. And what we need to do is we need to figure out what can we accomplish with the time we have available. Of course, we need to be time blocking and operating under the direction of a very dialed in, very dollar productive schedule. But some of us may work part-time jobs. Some of us may have other responsibilities, taking care of a loved one, things like that. And so we need to kind of work around this. Others of us are going to be, our brains are going to work faster. We're going to move faster. Some of you are going to be slower, and that doesn't mean your brain is necessarily slower. That just means maybe you're a little more methodical in the way that you move and act and think, and that's okay. Maybe you're just a little bit more detail oriented. You like to take your time to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks, and that's okay because you will speed up as you gain more experience with this open house game plan. All right, so Tuesday, just like I said before, we're going to start every day with our MLS research. We're going to study that hot sheet. And if you want to expand it out, one recommendation I have is for people to do some research around the questions and concerns of their database prospects. So if you're already a consistent lead prospector, then you're probably getting some questions about specific areas that you need to learn more about. So if I was a beach agent and I've been making, calls the last couple of weeks, I've been consistently getting questions about the beach market. I want to make sure that maybe I devote a little extra time to study up on those things. People want to know all the time, like what's going on with foreclosures? Where are the foreclosures at? Are there any foreclosures? And so if you don't know if there's any foreclosures in your market, you're going to get stumped on a question. So understanding the market, knowing the market, having a deep understanding of the data is going to help you build confidence, but it's also going to separate you from the vast majority, I would say to the tune of 80% of the agents out there that are just very unprofessional. Okay. This is not, they don't see this as a career. They don't see this as a long-term play. It's just a short-term gain opportunity, and they treat it as such. They treat it like a hobby. It pays them like one, which leads to the financial stress. But again, go back to this. You got to continue to recognize when your mind goes there, you got to just isolate those thoughts and go, wait a minute. It's not the market, it's not the news, it's not the weather, it's me. It's the way I am using my time. Okay, are you using your time wisely? All right, so Tuesday, study the hot sheet. We're gonna go right into our lead follow-up time block. Again, that should be a minimum of an hour. I would say maximum of 2 hours because we got a lot of other stuff we need to get done. And then we're going to preview the active listings in the closest proximity to our open house. This is key. Okay. I met with a new agent, one of our newest agents yesterday for some training yesterday afternoon. And I went over this stuff with her, like studying the market, studying the contracts. So she's brand new out of real estate school, just signed up with JWRE and needs to know what she needs to focus on. So I'm like, you need to know the loan programs. You need to study up. She lives in a pretty nice size subdivision. I said, you need to learn as much as you can about your subdivision, average sales price, average days on market, and you need to study that data. What's the best deal in your neighborhood? What's the most expensive home in your neighborhood? Are those listings that are active? Are they overpriced? Are they priced right? Are homes in your listings in your subdivision getting multiple offers? Are they selling for, at or above list price? These are all things that are going to help you develop power habits, if you will, and help you build confidence, because the consumer expects us to have a deep market knowledge and a deep understanding of real estate marketing. But above all, what gets us hired is confidence. Their confidence in us. What is the confidence we're projecting? What are they receiving? And so if they're receiving confidence, then they feel comfortable. Then it builds trust. Then it builds rapport, and ultimately leads to us getting hired, hopefully succeeding at a high level, and then earning the right to ask for referrals. See where I'm going with this? Okay. So with the agent I met with yesterday afternoon, I said, listen, a home doesn't come on the market in your neighborhood that you don't go see. So you're blocking off a chunk of time, 1 day per week, where you're going out and touring the homes in your backyard. And if there's no homes in your neighborhood, and this agent lives in Bessemer, Alabama, then I said, then you get out and you see as many of the new listings in Bessemer as you can that day. And you know the market. This is part of your job description, but it's something that very few agents do. And very few agents that listen to this call or watch the replay will actually do, but yet they'll keep complaining about their lack of results. They'll keep complaining about how hard the industry is, but yet they're just not doing it right. So it's not the market or the leads or the prospects or our sphere of influence that sucks. It's our process that does. And that's tough love, but you need to hear it, because I'm telling you exactly what to do to fill your pipeline. You're not doing it, and you're focusing way more time on being frustrated than you are actually taking the appropriate action to change your life and the lives of those around you who are counting on you to provide for them. Okay. This is about profit feeds the family, and provision is the result of a super consistent day, week, month, quarter, year of executing on dollar productive activities. I'm just giving you the game plan that covers all the bases and will keep your pipeline full. And again, it's your choice whether you choose to follow or not. Now, what we're going to be doing with these previewing homes, right? We're going to go, let's say we go into showing time and we select that that's an agent preview. Some agents don't like that. They feel like it's a waste of time for their sellers. They don't understand that any traffic is good traffic. And that is my firm belief. The more people we get through the threshold of the home into the door, the front door, the better it is for that listing to sell at the price and terms that that seller wants. But we need to possibly sell them on the benefit of this preview. I did that the other day on a house I sold in Bruton. Was working for some people that live in Ohio. It's a long, long drive, 2-day drive from where they live to Bruton, Alabama from Ohio. And I had to get in there and preview it. And so I just told them, I was like, listen, these people are putting $100,000 down and they're very serious about this listing. So what can we do to kind of win over some of these listing agents that are let's say, unsure, uncertain about the benefits to their seller of us previewing that home. Well, the benefit could be some really robust and honest feedback. Okay, so what's the feedback they're getting? What is the agent struggling with this particular seller? Is it around price? Is it around condition? We know those are the two keys to get any home sold in any market. That's where the focus needs to lie. And so maybe the agent was like, listen, this house it's over 300,000. It needs to be 300 or below. If you agree with me, I would love to see that feedback on it, because we know a lot of showing agents, buyers agents, they don't address price. They'll just say price just right. That doesn't help a listing agent, especially when we all know the house is overpriced. So some really honest, purposeful, intentional feedback will help you get this acceptance of this preview appointment, but also help you build relationships with listing agents. And so they'll start proactively reaching out to you. Hey, will you preview my listing? Got one coming soon over here in Gardendale. Would love for you to go out and take a look, because you're just so good with the feedback. And I really need feedback, because the seller will not take my advice and declutter. And there's big furniture and there's pictures all over the walls. There's just a lot going on in here. Could really use your help. So that's going to help you, get offers accepted down the road, help you make negotiations easier among some of these key listing agents in your community. All right, so after we send the feedback, then we're going to create a Craigslist ad for our open house. Many people don't know that Craigslist has a specific place where you can advertise open houses in Craigslist, and that's what I would do if you're doing it for another agent, or if it's a FSBO listing. You need to make sure that you note that it's not your listing, that's either a for sale by owner listing, and there's a special disclaimer you need to use when advertising, either on Craigslist or social media or in a blog or on YouTube, anywhere where you're going to be advertising a for sale by owner listing online. You need to note that it is a for sale by owner listing, and that your brokerage, let's just say JWRE, has no formal relationship with that seller. All right, so we just need to make sure we do that. When we forget to do that, we need to go back and correct it and actually do it. All right, Wednesday, action pack. We're going to get up. We're going to study the MLS. We're going to go right into our lead follow-up. And then we're going to get out into the field. And I'm recommending that you shoot a selfie video. So have some video footage with your face in it. Have some video footage with your face not in it. And we're going to shoot and showcase the number one amenity of the subdivision, which in some cases that might just be sidewalks. In some cases that might just be streetlights, and in that case we can make it funny, right? Hopefully we could, because that would be, I think, hilarious. Like, listen, this is the number one amenity to showcase here, sidewalks. And sidewalks are important to some people, so are streetlights. If there's nothing to really showcase amenity wise for the subdivision, then we need to go outside of the subdivision and kind of focus on the area. Is there a park nearby, a boat launch, a walking trail? What's in the closest proximity of this home that could be considered a lifestyle amenity? That's going to be key. Okay. Now, before you leave the subdivision, I would love it if you'd installed one of those open house directionals in the front yard of the listing that just simply outlines the day and time that the open house is going to be taking place, because we want to make sure that we're putting the neighbors on notice, and we want to make sure that we are getting the attention of driving traffic through the subdivision, and we're reaching those people. We're letting people know, hey, there's an open house going on this Sunday from 2 to 4. Now we're going to go directly from there to the entrance of the subdivision. In front of the entrance sign, I want you to have this. You can have a whiteboard where you've got the data written on it, and you can put the whiteboard, lean it up against the windshield of your car, or have it propped up on a easel or something. I don't know. I prefer that you not read from a piece of paper. I prefer you have the data memorized, but some of you are just going to get, whether you have it memorized or not, you're just going to get nervous when you're watching, or when you got the video camera pointed at yourself. And so you're going to need a guide to kind of stay on track. So having a whiteboard with the average days on market, average list price, average sold price, all that good stuff for like the last 60, 90 days is totally acceptable. And here is a just kind of a side benefit that may or may not happen as you're shooting this video. A resident of that subdivision or a potential buyer may stop and ask what you're doing. And so you'll tell them, hey, I'm doing some marketing for an open house at 123 Main Street this Sunday from 2 to 4. Hope to see you there. Oh, by the way, do you live in here? Are you an interested buyer? Do you have a friend that lives in the neighborhood? Do you want to live in this neighborhood one day? So conversations equal clients and clients equal closings. So that's a good opportunity to start a conversation. All right. Next, what I want you to do, we're going to go back to your office or home office, and we're going to work on this blog some more. What you could do is, use the footage that you shot for the subdivision amenity for a reel or a story or a TikTok. It could be a YouTube short, and then you could save that footage to compile it with more footage down the road to complete a very comprehensive open house marketing video. Okie doke. All right, then I have here to write and mail personal notes to the neighbors, inviting them to the open house. Of course, we're not going to do that to everybody. If you have, this is one of those things, like if you didn't have time to do it, you've done all this other stuff. I really feel like the digital is the priority over the traditional. So let's focus on the digital marketing. But if we have time and we like to write handwritten notes and we believe in them, a lot of people do, this would be a good time to do that. And I would just say, listen, let's do maybe 10 houses to the right, 10 houses to the left, and 10 houses across the street. That would be 30. And of course, we could do 5, 5, and 5. And at the end of the note, we could say, hey, tell your friends. We could ask them to please put that, make a post in their neighborhood subdivision, private Facebook page if they've got one. Just help us spread the word about the open house. All right. Okay, let's move on to Thursday. Pop quiz, what do we need to be doing to start every day? We need to be studying the market. We need to begin our day always with market research, and then we need to go right in to our lead follow-up, right? And so by doing this, we're going to create a routine that is a very profitable one. Okay, so this should sell itself, right? The motivation should just be there, like, oh my gosh, this is all I got to do. And what I have found is that when agents have structure to their days and their weeks, it takes a lot of pressure off of them, and it allows them to enjoy life at a higher level when they're not working, because they can honestly tell themselves when they reflect on their day that they were like, I had a productive day today. I have earned the right to enjoy some leisure time. I've earned the right to enjoy some time with my family. I worked while I was working, so I can play while I'm playing. All right, so Thursday, after we do our traditional morning activities, which is research and follow-up, phone prospecting, whatever you want to call it, I would suggest going back to your Craigslist ad and renewing it. Those tend to expire after a couple days, so renew that Craigslist ad. Thursday is also the day we're going to publish our weekly blog, and again, the seller is basically going to write that for us. If you submit the questionnaire to the seller and they respond back with words and very short, fragment sentences, I'll just warn them ahead of time. Say, listen, this is really important. I need as much detail as you can possibly give me about the house. And if this is a co-op agent, the co-op agent may need to conduct this interview. They may not be comfortable with you doing it, but however it needs to get done, work it out, okay? And these blogs are especially easy to write with the help of ChatGPT. So that's a totally separate training. But the blog should be easy. I hear from a lot of agents like, I don't know how to write. I'm not Walt Whitman. I'm not asking you to be. I'm asking you to get the sellers to write it. And I just want you to put it in a very fluid, a very cohesive, a very just well-organized blog article. And the questions are going to do that for you. And the seller's knowledge is going to provide the content that you need to put that blog together. So the next thing on here is door knocking and or circle prospecting the subdivision. I know some of the people that are going to listen and watch are going to be on one side of that fence or the other. They're going to be door knockers or they're going to be circle prospectors. I would say the door knockers are probably going to be in the minority, but door knocking, especially when it is very intentional like this, when it's very purposeful like this, the results are much greater. So if you're knocking on doors just to invite people to an open house, that is an easy door knock. It's not an intrusive door knock, but safety is an issue with a lot of people. I mean, you knock on somebody's door, you may, who knows what's going to happen. So it's much safer in the frenzied craziness of society today, it's much safer and it's much more efficient, I believe, to circle prospect. Okay, you can reach more people in less time circle prospecting, and what we could use for that is RPR and forewarn, which is for a lot of MLSs becoming a free service provided by the MLS. Again, those are separate trainings. Do your RPR training, do your forewarn training, and get that implemented ASAP. Last thing on the list for Thursday, shoot a quick Facebook video showcasing the #1 community amenity near your open house. So this would be, if we didn't have a subdivision amenity to highlight, or if we did have a strong subdivision amenity to highlight prior, then this video we would focus on community amenity. We'd go do that boat launch. We'd go do that kids park. We'd go do the walking trails. We do all that stuff, and then that's going to give us great content to put on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. And it does a lot of other things too. Okay, so if we're showcasing community amenities, not only are we reaching the people that are in a buying and selling cycle, we're also reaching people that are not in a buying or selling cycle. We may be reaching people that have just moved to the area. And they might go, oh, I never even knew that boat launch was there. I never knew that walking trail was there. I never knew that was there. I never knew I could go do this or take that dog to the dog park, right around the corner from my house. This is so helpful. And then we're evoking the law of reciprocity, that giver's gain. So we're building rapport with people we don't even know yet because we're helping them get acclimated to a community they just moved to. And if they're renting, maybe we're establishing some type of mind awareness that will be helpful if and when they decide to put down roots in the market that we serve. All right, for the sake of time, and I'm already about out of time, I got 7 minutes to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so that's why I'm talking fast. We got to get through this, but again, these trainings are on YouTube, on learnerandgiveserve.com, where you can reach out to me directly, and I'll just make it real easy for you. I'll just send it to you direct. Friday should be a no-brainer. Getting in that routine, those power habits are getting developed. We know we're going to get up and we're going to do research. We're going to dive into the MLS, do our research. Then we're going to dive into our lead follow-up. And then if we didn't have time, so some of this stuff, if we don't have time, we're going to try to fit it in the next day. So did we renew that Craigslist ad from the prior day? Did we get that blog published? Do we have any makeup work that we need to do before we get out into the field? And hopefully you guys have seen this, is that the schedule that we're creating is actually divided up into 2 hemispheres here. We've got before lunch and after lunch, right? Morning and afternoon. Morning, I believe, should be office work. Afternoon should be field work. So hopefully you're starting to see that these routines develop, and starting to see that each day is segmented by in office and out of office. All right, so when we get out of the office on Friday, we're going to go do some lifestyle marketing, and that could be community amenities. But I think since we've hopefully highlighted a subdivision amenity and a community amenity up to this point, that we should focus on maybe a small business that adds the lifestyle of the local community. Water park would be a great one. Coffee shops, where's the best burger in town? Who's got the best meat and three? I don't know. I mean, there's so many options out there. It could be, if somebody's buying a house, they're going to be looking for a nursery, like who's got the best plants and stuff like that to beef up my curb appeal. So those are all really, really good ideas. Now, the next thing on the list is to upload this lifestyle marketing video to YouTube. And what I love about this is that some of the things we're doing here, like when we create a reel, recreate a YouTube video, YouTube short, these things have a very long shelf life. So well after this week, well after this open house, this content is going to continue to work for us. So it's really, really amazing. It's like creating and deploying a 24/7 sales force for your business. Some people on the call today, I don't see hardly any content that showcases your knowledge, your expertise, your love of the community, your love of and passion for the industry. Nada. I don't see anything really about you. I may see that you have one side hustle that you're really into, or that you're really into fashion or something like that, but that's pretty much it. It's a very shallow reflection of who you are. And this should be like laser burned into our brains that social media is the modern day digital resume, most specifically your personal Facebook page. So cancel that business page. You don't need it anymore. That's all I got to say about that. Next thing we're going to do for Friday is we're going to prepare our open house flyers. That's super easy to do these days. There's things out there, like list reports and Canva and Snappa and, just all these type of, technology driven graphic creation tools that, are either free or super inexpensive, that we can crank out in an open house flyer. But if it's a listed property, we may use RPR. Who knows? There's a lot of opportunities there to make this efficient. Then, in accordance with the subdivision and or city rules, covenants, restrictions, what have you, for many places it's after 5 on Friday. You're clear to put in open house, an open house sign, directionals, all that kind of stuff. Get your signs out Friday and start directing people to that open house. Okay. The other thing that you're getting there is if you've got open house signs that have your face on it and your name on it, you're getting that brand recognition. So again, nobody comes to the open house where they're seeing your signs. It's like little mini billboards out there leading people to your brand, which is really, really important. All right, so Saturday and Sunday, pretty easy. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, and the way the plan is written right now, the open house is going to take place on Sunday. But Saturday is really another one of those makeup day opportunities. Making phone calls on Saturday morning before lunch, 9 to 11, 9 to noon, 10 to noon, 10 to 11, whatever. You're going to get a lot of people answering the phones on a Saturday morning. But I would really love for you to spend the morning getting caught up on anything else that kind of fell through the cracks throughout the week. And then I want you to, go spend some time doing what you love with the people you love, take the afternoon, after lunch off, go have lunch with your family, go do something fun, have some leisure time. But again, if you have a great lunch somewhere, great service, document it. I mean, listen, real estate, we're kind of always on. There's this intentional congruence that I really love and appreciate about the industry, because it's hard to tell when I'm working and when I'm living, because these things blur, they blend, they mesh. There's such synergy between those two, that, like when I go to bed on Sunday, it's not like, I got to go to work tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. I don't really have a case of the Mondays, and I don't live for Friday either, because I really love what I'm doing, and I'm constantly trying to do things that challenge me and interest me, that are fun, and that also produce a lot of ROIs. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, so Sunday, we may need to get up and print those flyers. We know we made them on Friday. We may need to get up and print them, or go somewhere and have them printed. We may need to install some additional open house directionals. Like I have on here a pro tip of how many directionals you should put in as 20 plus, 20, 25. A lot of people don't have that many. They don't have the energy to put that many out. If you're in Southern Alabama, in another month or so, if you put out 20 open house signs, you're going to be soaking wet. You're going to need to change clothes, probably shower, just redo your whole makeup. Everything's going to have to, you have to hit the reset button on all that stuff. So I get it. But the fact remains, the more directionals you put out, the more traffic that you're going to generate. You may need to go out and shop for your open house snacks and refreshments. I could tell you candy is big, especially if people come with kids, but at least have some cold waters for them. If you have some cookies and things like that, it tends to make people linger. Okay. And so, hey, before you leave, help yourself to some refreshments and some snacks. And then who knows, that might buy you some time for some extra conversation. When the open house starts or directly prior to the open house starting, I would highly advise that make go live on every platform you can, and announce where you are, how long you're going to be there, and why people should come out to that open house. Like, what is something like they really need to see if they're in the market to buy a home in that particular market. And of course, after the open house is over, collect those open house signs, your sign-in sheet from your open house. Go home and enter all those people into your CRM and get them ready for follow-up on Monday. That'll be part of your Monday lead follow-up. But here's one pro tip I'm going to leave you with, and then I've just got to sign off. And I know I had to zip through this, but it's hard to kind of cram this whole program into an hour. But we previewed other listings in the area or in the subdivision. So if there's nothing else listed in the subdivision, what's the greatest competition outside the subdivision in that closest proximity? Maybe there's a handful of listings. You can go ahead and print out the MLS sheets on those. Maybe have a cover sheet with your brand, your face, your logo, your contact information at least, but let people know that you're able and willing to show them those homes at the conclusion of your open house. So if they want to go, maybe have a cup of coffee or grab a snack or run some errands and come back around 4 or 5, that you'll already have these other appointments set up and y'all can go straight from the open house to go take a closer look at those other properties. All right, so I got to go. If you guys want to reach out to me via cell phone, it's 251-583-9728. Email is jason@jasonrealestate.com. The link to scheduled trainings on my calendar is deanofhustle.com. Hey, thanks so much for joining this week. I know it was a lot, but if you decide to implement this program, it will change your life.